not do product reviews on this channel, or at least not anymore, and for a lot of really good reasons. Reason number one, when I did do them, companies figured out pretty fast that I would not take their hush money, and you do often get offered a lot of money to do reviews. I would take their product, I'd not take their money, and then I'd review it like honestly, and boy did I find out real quick that that's not how that's supposed to go. This I paid possibly way too much money for. This is a BedJet. We shall explore. I paid some irritating amount, like $303.15, some weird number. And that's either going to be the biggest waste of money for an appliance that seems pretty goofy, or it's the best money I've ever spent because it will finally solve a problem that I have had for many, many years that has become intolerable, which is turning into a piece of molten lava the second you get into bed at night. My hot sleepers, this is for you. I did not get this for free. I did not ask for it for free. I am largely convinced that this might be a scam, but the reviews were really good, and that's what pushed me over the line. So let's first discuss the issue at hand. This is the problem, but I'm the problem, but this is the problem. And then this is all deconstructed because I had to take the whole bed apart so that I could add this contraption, the BedJet, to see if it even works. On a good night, I will wake up 4 times a night, sweating, hot, molten lava, fire, brimstone. A bad night, 6. I have no idea what a full night's sleep is. And I know that as women get older, because some lady named Eve ate an apple, had a fruit snack with a snake a long time ago, so we get all these fun changes. It's not that, we ruled that out. I've always been a hot sleeper. All during the day, I have on sweatshirts and hoodies and I'm freezing cold. And the second I try to get any amount of sleep, I think it's like all the anger in such a tiny body just comes out at night. I will wake up, if I don't wake up drenched in sweat, I will wake up on one side of the room, twisted around my sheets like a mental patient jacket, and then half the pillows will be on this side of the room, and the other half are in the garage. And I don't even know how that happened. When you don't get enough sleep for a long enough time, you start to have a personality like mine. I just want to sleep the whole night through and not wake up all night roasted, toasted, not sugar-coated. So I'm gonna go through the things that have worked for hot sleeping and the things that haven't worked. Let's start with this mattress. This is some Princess and the Pea kind of mattress. This thing is 12 inches thick of solid foam. I got it on Amazon. I've owned 3 of them. It's the most comfortable mattress in the whole wide world. And so that has helped profoundly. But it's solid foam. 12 inches of solid foam. Yes, you can get the 10-inch, or I think there's a 6-inch, but 12. Casey Roman wants 12. The problem with solid foam mattresses is there's no coil. And when there's no coil, there's no airflow. So you have to get this thing, which is called a Red Nomad, which I thought they named it after me. They did not. But it's a bamboo topper that goes over this, which has cooling properties. This is lovely, and it is a little bit cool to the touch. These 2 things work great for a good night's sleep. But if you're a hot sleeper, this does not solve the problem. I have these big mama jammas. This is a cooling pillow, and it is actually cold to the touch. And it's I think it's chopped up foam, but it does feel kind of chilly. And then this is covered with a cooling protector. And then in the wash right now are these faux silk, because I'm not making that much money, faux silk pillow covers, which are twofold. 1, they don't retain heat. And 2, they don't bunch up so that you don't get those marks on your face. So there's a vanity need there. But this is a cooling pillow. These do actually work. They are very nice on your skin. However, they do not overcome the magma that comes out of my body. So with these, what I have to do is I have to leave it on top of the covers, let the fan and the air conditioning cool it down, and then put it under the covers as a body pillow to cool me down. But then I turn this into the temperature of a microwaved burrito, and then I gotta throw it back out and bring it back in and throw it back out. It's like a human ice pack. So it does work kind of, but it's not the solution for super hot sleepers. It just helps a little bit. This is one of the greatest things I have ever spent money on, but it's also contributing to the problem. And this is heavy. This is a weighted blanket And I think this is 20 pounds. I take this whole thing, all 20 pounds, and I pile it up on my chest so I have all 20 pounds to keep me from tossing and turning. And it works beautifully for that. It has these like little beads in it. It's wonderful for creating a little bit of compression if you just toss and turn all night long. The problem with this wonderful device is that weight and that lack of airflow, it makes you a hot sleeper. Wonderful for getting you to sleep, but not so wonderful for a hot sleeper. I know what people are thinking is like, well, just take off the sheets and you can just strip down. And no, because I like the feeling of being all bundled up. And if you totally strip down and you take off all your sheets, then you get cold toes and cold boobies. And everybody knows that you can't go to sleep with cold toes and cold boobies, but like be hot everywhere else. It's just an uncomfortable, like that's how people actually sleep in prison. The fan is on. In the summertime, the temperature in here is at night turned down to 68 degrees. So that's brutal on my air conditioning bill. And now it's actually cold at night. So it's down into the 50s. Even with all the windows open and a fan, I'm still on fire the second I go to sleep. White noise machine, this does help you get to sleep. It has nothing to do with being a hot sleeper. I have this on to the setting of Hurricane Katrina to block out. I have to listen to a disaster to get myself to calm down. Multiple eye masks. And if you're thinking, Casey, if it's that bad, maybe you should go to the doctor. No. If you're a woman until you're like 80, if you go to the doctor with anything regarding heat or your body or like any stitch of you, they're going to try to convince you that you might be pregnant. Like I could stub my toe and the first thing the doctor will say is, maybe we should get an ultrasound. And I'm thinking, not to question anyone's medical degree, but I think I've isolated the problem to my left toe where it made contact with the table. So maybe we just zero in on that. These retail brand new for about $500. I did not spend that. I spent the $303.50 on a refurbished model. First part of this review is shipping. On shipping, 0.000 stars, negative stars, minus stars, terrible. After I order it, I like at the bottom of the website that has way too much blah, 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 blah propaganda on it. It says 7 to 10 days to ship. At the 10th day, I email customer service and I'm like, it hasn't shipped. Where the hell is this thing? Like I've ordered things from the other side of the planet and have come this fast. Oh, good. A really lengthy manual that I have no intention of reading. I mean, it's as clunky as I thought it would be. Maybe it's a little bit, this is much larger than I was hoping for. I don't know how you would make this attractive. I really don't. Let me be clear. This is not an air conditioning unit. It is not. This is a fan. And that's where when you read about it, you're like, surely I can go buy a fan and then connect a piece of glorified ductwork to it and just run that up. But I have to say, it all looks brand new. I understand that this was a refurbished unit, but it looks spotless. Like I don't what is that? Hose grip with 2 sheet clamps. Height extension links. Mattress mount base with foam retention block. Huh? I mean, I got that far. This is probably not that complicated, but there's just way too much language, too many words. I was hoping it would look less ugly. But if it solves the problem, it doesn't matter. The first big decision you have to make is where on the bed you are going to attach this beautiful piece of accoutrement. because this is where the cold or warm air is going to come out of. I tend to sleep more on this side, which is closer to all the weapons on my bedside table in the event that someone decides to invite themselves into my home at night and be the first member of the new graveyard I'm starting. These are entirely useless. I had to go watch a YouTube video on how to set it up. Basically, you're supposed to insert this underneath the mattress. The problem I'm having here is that this isn't a solid box spring underneath. This is just like the metal grates. So having somewhere for that to rest is problematic. So just know that. So I have like some cardboard slatted over two of the grates to give this somewhere to actually latch on to. Here's my problem. It does not sit flush because I have just these metal rails on this bed. So it is like loosey-goosey off the side here, and this is pretty far off the bed. So when I get up in the middle of the night, inevitably, I'm now gonna have to like bob and weave around this thing. So I'm gonna move this to the foot of the bed, and I'm hoping that that doesn't mean that I'm just gonna have freezing cold feet. Much better indeed as far as fitting. However, I do that thing that I think we all do as Americans, where once you get into bed, you lift your feet up so that the sheets and blanket fold under you so you can burrito yourself. And I will not be able to do that if this is at the bottom, because otherwise I'll just be blowing fan air around the room. So I'm not quite sure. You can adjust it. These clips come in and out, so you can adjust it based on mattress height. But it would really be a lot better on that side. So I hope, well, we're just gonna see. Damn it, we're just gonna see. I gassed her up, and she's a blowin'. I can't show you the app because I'm shooting this on my cell phone, but on the app you can set it to cool or hot and then adjust the temperature. The thing you need to know is that, because it's not an air conditioning machine, it's just a fan, that it can only work so much based on the temperature of the air. So right now I have all the windows open and it's in the 70s today, so it's warm inside the house, but this is I think any colder than this, and yeah, you're gonna have freezing cold feet, but that's a good breeze. That is a good jet stream right there. This is not the most scientific review. Actually, from this video, we can see why companies do not give me free shit to review. But I am at the head of the bed, and the BedJet is all the way over yonder. Let's see if I can spin this around without this gimbal going psycho. Over there, over here, and I can still feel total breeze. That may actually be too strong. I may be. By God, I may be chilly tonight. I'm gonna finish making the bed and then we will give it a go tonight, and by God, maybe if it does work, I will be a kinder, gentler, nicer, I doubt it. I'm just gonna be a more well-rested bitch. I have to shoot this part from the truck, from inside Bob, the Ram of God, because I'm late, because I slept 10 hours last night. I slept in, and it was divine. I woke up twice last night. That's a record, because I told you it's usually 4, on a high night it's 6. Twice. One was because I had to potty, which that's just gonna happen, because until I break the habit of drinking practically a gallon throughout the day of Earl Grey tea, that's just gonna happen. The second time was because, brace your heart, clutch your pearls, I was too cold. That is not something that a hot sleeper ever says. I was too cold. and I had to make some adjustments. Now, the not so good part was that the placement of the BedJet nozzle at the foot of the bed, which is the only place that, as of right now, without playing with it more, that I could actually fit it, that made my toes freezing. I never sleep with my socks on, and last night I fell asleep with socks, sweatpants, t-shirt, sweater, and bathrobe, and I didn't get hot the entire night. But my feet were super, super cold. So I do think at some point, I'm gonna, like, as soon as I get back from this conference, I'm gonna have to move that thing to the side and engineer it in a way where it's gonna stay on the side, because really it's like here that gets hot. When I got into bed, I had it on the coldest setting it would go and at 100% fan. And I got in and I thought, ooh, this is a little bit wind tunnel. This is a little bit much. So I brought it back down to 75%. And you can adjust like how fast the fan is moving. And that still felt too fast. And finally, I was getting so chilly that I brought it down to 50%. And I think somewhere between 35 and 50 is probably going to be my sweet spot. And that's, I think, the big takeaway that I learned from just using it one night, is that there's all these settings that you can adjust your app to. The temperature, the fan speed. Do you want it to shut off after a certain number of hours? That would probably be nice. Everything you can pre-program. And I think you've just got to figure out like what works for you. And so there's probably going to be something of a learning curve until I get it just right. The trick to using a weighted blanket with a BedJet is that you have to put the weighted blanket on you first, and then you pull up the sheets in the blanket that the BedJet are running air through over that. And so, because if you did it the other way around, if you pulled the sheets and the covers up with the air circulating, and then you put the weighted blanket on top of that, that's not going to work because the weight of it is going to cut off the airflow. So there's some downsides. The only downside I think is I really do like to wrap the covers all around me and like over my head, you know, like a little mummy. And that part I kind of missed. So, but like if it keeps you from waking up 6 times a night, if it keeps you from waking up in your own sweat, if you can actually get a good night's sleep, then you just learn to sleep a little bit differently. It does get pretty chilly. It's surprisingly chilly. I think the sensation of feeling the air circulating that much under the covers, that's going to take a little getting used to. And the only other thing that I was worried about was the noise it made. Pros and cons there. If you like a white noise machine, this is a built-in white noise machine. You're gonna love it. If you are someone who has to sleep in absolute perfect silence, this is not gonna be the product for you. Do I think it's gonna interrupt your sleep? No. Do I think you're gonna get used to it? Absolutely. But some people just have to sleep in a tomb, and if that's you, that's not gonna work out for you. And the only other downside is when I made the bed and I put everything together, you can't really see it, but it is kind of clunky, and I have no doubt that over time they'll engineer something smaller. I'm told they're engineering, and they might already have it already, a travel size one. I don't even know how you do that, but as someone who's about to go stay in a hotel, I would have loved to have had that. So all in all, 10 hours of sleep, hot sleep, not an issue at all. I will update this video if need be. But I think to actually get a full night's sleep, that is money well spent. They did give me a link. I do think you get a discount for using it. If you don't, then don't use the link. But I put all that stuff down below. And nighty night, weirdos.